Hey guys, it's Shani. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about a couple of things. Firstly, to give a content warning, today's episode is a bit heavier than others that I have posted. Thiccbaer and I go into some pretty real stuff around Pride Month and the history of Pride Month and how things are today. And some of the content warnings that I wanted to address are: we talk about the commercialism of pride, we talk about suicidality of gay people and transgender people and people who are in the process of finding who they are. We talk about masking, about homophobia and transphobia and violence towards marginalized communities. So I know that's a lot, and if that doesn't sound like something that you feel up to listening to, that is absolutely fine. Skip this episode, feel free to come to the next one, and take care of yourselves. If that does sound like something that you're able to listen to and you are interested in going forwards, amazing. The second thing I wanted to talk about with this episode is that I wanted to clarify that my views and Thiccbaer's views in this episode are not on Pride in general. It is on Pride Month. We are talking about how Pride Month has gone from a protest to what it is now and how it could be improved, I guess, is the thing we're trying to get towards. It is all love here. We love our gays. We love our transgender babies. We love all of you. There is absolutely no hate here. I also say this in the pod, but I'll say it again. We do talk a fair bit about straight people and their experiences versus the gay community's experiences. And I just also want to put out there again that there is no hate or anything towards anyone who is straight. I wanted to make this episode to address some things that left me feeling very overwhelmed and very confused when Pride Month came around. I have had a couple of Pride Months now where I was out, and it felt very overwhelming for me and very confusing, and there was a couple of things that just didn't sit right with me, and that is why I wanted to make this episode. So I hope that you can take away those points from that and understand where I'm coming from. Another thing that I want to talk about is something that I don't really like how I worded in the episode, and that is around the visibility of pride. In the episode, it kind of comes across that I have a problem with rainbows and with the visibility of the gay community during Pride, and I don't. I think that seeing everything that is showing that we exist, that we are here, and that we're not going away is beautiful. The issue that I take with having rainbow things around during Pride Month is more towards companies marketing rainbow things that they sell all year round and putting a pride flag next to it and saying that they support the gays, and it has nothing to do with Pride or Pride Month or anything of the sort. That's where I take problem. The last thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into today's episode is that this episode was filmed in March, and it is now June. It is now Pride Month in the US and across the world, and things have changed. There is a lot of fucked up things in the world that it kind of feels like we've taken a step back. And one thing that I really, really want to stress is that it may not be safe for everyone to come out at the moment. It's a really fucked up time in the world right now, and the amount of stigma and the amount of people who don't understand and who lash out with violence and horrible words and threats and everything, it breaks my heart. It's horrible, and I just want to remind you guys to please stay safe. Take care of yourselves. If you can't come out at the moment, please remember to prioritize your safety. Remember to surround yourself with people who love you, who have your best interests at heart. Make sure you have a safe space. If you can, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for sitting with me while I ramble a bit before this pod ep. I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and yeah, without further ado, here's Sitting with Shar. Thiccbaer, how are you?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm good. I just came back from work.
Mm-hmm.
Day was fucked. Love it. Loves it. How are you?
I'm good because we're going to talk about gay shit, and this is like the highlight of my week. I've also just come back from work, and I think we're both tired and running off adrenaline, and this is the perfect time to talk about gay shit. So here we are. Guys, welcome to Sitting with Shar. I am Charmander, and this is the lovely Thiccbaer.
Hiya.
If you're on YouTube, you can actually see us, but if you're listening, hello, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Okay, so today I want to talk about something. Now, we are currently in the middle of the March. March. But by the time this comes out, it might be April, it might be May. I don't know when it's coming out. But we are celebrating Pride this month in Australia.
Woo.
Are you guys doing anything in Sydney for Pride? Like, is there rainbow stuff everywhere?
Yeah. There's rainbow stuff everywhere. In the city.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the city, there's nothing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only in the city we are gay. Outside of
Yeah.
it, nothing. Yeah. In the supermarkets and stuff here, it's all rainbows, literally. But the thing is, there's rainbow balloons everywhere, but I
Yeah.
can't find pride flags or like things pride. Like,
Well,
I was looking for like badges the other day because I just started a new job and I want to wear like a little like bi badge or like my pronouns on a badge. I can't find one. I'm gonna have to go online. So they've got all of this like gay shit out in terms of rainbow balloons, but there's nothing I can like buy for like Mardi Gras, which is tomorrow. So it is coming up. It is being promoted. But where do I buy the stuff to? Sorry.
you've got to go to Etsy.
I'm getting
You've
ahead.
got to go to Etsy and find your local gay dealer and make sure that they are queer, because one of the topics that you wanted to discuss was the goods and bads of Pride.
Yes.
And one of the bads of Pride is the commercialization of Pride, the yassification of business, and I
This is
hate
going to
it.
take up so much of this episode.
We
I was
don't have
literally
that
just
much
about to
time.
say, I'm getting ahead of myself. Today I wanted to talk about Pride. And I came out not necessarily publicly, but I kind of figured out my sexuality probably like, how old am I? 23? Probably about 3-ish years ago, something like that. And I, when I went to my first Pride March, that was, I think, 3 years ago, 3 or 4. And I loved it. I thought it was really cool. But being the little gay that I am today, I have mixed feelings about Pride this month, and I kind of wanted to sit down with my resident gay and discuss Pride and discuss your thoughts on Pride, my thoughts on Pride, and where we kind of stand with it. Because originally I was going to go with the not so great stuff about Pride, but there is a lot of good stuff about Pride. Like, Pride is great, but the more I have settled into who I am and my identity and just the gay community, it is so evident the commercialism of gay culture for profit, for money, and just there's so many things to talk about with this. And my gayness is coming out. If you're on YouTube, you can see the hands are doing
The hands have
things.
been released.
Oh,
You worked all day, you had to hide them, and now they've come out in full strength.
they're here. So, what are your thoughts on Pride?
So Pride is fantastic.
Mhm.
the goods and bads of Pride that we want to talk about. There's so much that you can do. There's so much that you can do in Mardi Gras, outside of Mardi Gras, outside
Mhm.
of the gay season.
Mhm.
That engaging with communities and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you live in the city,
I was literally about to say that. Yes.
yeah. Even so, I live about 45 minutes drive on a highway out of the city.
Oh my
There's
god.
nothing here.
Oh my god.
There's nothing here.
Oh,
Like
you don't like your Coles? There's so many rainbow balloons in my Coles at the moment. It's crazy.
the local Coles and Woolies have the Acon sticker at the front of the door, and
Yes, we get
that's it.
that. That's it.
That's it. There's no pride flags. There's no because Sydney's got all the conservatives, so we don't want that. Whoa. Can't think of gays when I'm buying fucking oranges and shit like that. No, 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 no.
No, not the gays.
So like I work in a small office
Mm-hmm.
and was unbearably excited that we had a new hire who
Mm-hmm.
was a lesbian.
Oh my god, love it. Yes.
Within 25 seconds of saying, I'm glad I'm no longer the only queer in the village, best
Mhm.
friends.
I can imagine the bond straight
Yep.
away. Just like,
Immediately.
yes.
Yeah.
I feel like as well there is uh I don't know, anytime that I see someone who I get, the gaydar is ringing, I'm
Hmm.
feeling those vibes that I'm sort of like, I don't know you, you don't know me, but we're best friends for life now, and we're here, we're together. And where I come from, and growing up and everything, I don't have a lot of gay people in my life. I don't
Mm.
even think, I don't know if I have a, oh no, no, I have two bi friends. That's it. In person, like IRL. Online, everyone's fruity. Everyone's a fruit. But in person, too. Everyone else is straight. And like, so growing up and, being in friend groups and school and doing all that sort of stuff, I never got to have that kind of experience with people who are also not straight. So it
Hmm.
was terrifying being a little fruity in this friend group, and not that anyone is homophobic or anything, but it was just,
To be the only fruit in the room of salad.
everyone is straight, and it's really hard
Disappointing.
to explain. I have nothing against straight people, like my boyfriend's straight, most of my amazing friends are straight, but there is a lot of different things,
Hmm.
and experiences, and that they don't really relate to. I told two of my straight friends, when they were talking about Mardi Gras, I was like, "Oh, be gay, do crime," right?
Yep.
They had no clue what that was. They had no clue what that meant. They were like, "Why crime? Why what?" And I was like, "It's a thing." And they were like, "What? Where?" And I was like, "It's on shirts and badges and literally everywhere. It's literally any
Yeah.
kind of gay merch. Be gay, do crime
Be
is
gay, do
it."
crime. So, and that be gay, do crime, I love because I think it's something like 60. Hold on, it's 72 countries. We are criminals in 72 countries.
And this is why pride is a good thing, because it's the original feelings I had with pride were celebration and kind of a beacon of, I'm not alone. I'm
Mhm.
also not an outcast. There are people like me, And I remember seeing this celebration and just pardon me, just being so excited about it and having so much joy. And it really did inspire me to continue to kind of try and understand myself. Now, now that I am older and wiser of a total of 3 years, Now that I'm old and wise, I don't know. When I saw the flags going up and when I saw the balloons and when I saw all this stuff, like
It's nice, right?
I just had the worst. I had these
Really?
horrible internal feelings, and I was really surprised, and I kind of wanted to like dissect that because I was like, normally when I see the gay stuff go up, it's like, oh my god. But I was walking around town yesterday
Hmm.
and I went into a few shops and everything, and it's pretty much anything with a rainbow on it is front and center. It doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with gay culture, with the gays, with anything like that. Like, there was like 3 bottles of nail polish that had a pride sticker like slapped on them, and
Yeah.
it was like, "Be gay this March," like, support and celebrate gay culture, which we love supporting and celebrating gay culture, but like you said earlier, it's gay season. It's always motherfucking gay season. When are
Yeah.
we not like I'm sorry, I'm not switching it off right before bed. I'm not plugging my gayness into the
Especially
charger
not before
waiting for
bed.
the week. Well, as a bisexual woman dating a straight man, especially not before bed.
Oh God, no.
The gayness never like like
It really annoys me that like you'll see big companies like car companies and they'll all change their logos and whatnot, and then you'll go to their page that's for a country that doesn't accept it, and they're still the normal logo. It's like, oh
um,
yeah, you've realized that something like 40% of the world is queer, and that's
mhm.
40% of profits for you. Hmm.
it's it's become a lot more clear that Pride is very heavily about profits.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is also a really big sense of how do I put this? Pressure for allies and straight people around Pride season. I feel like I have a friend who is straight and she's an ally and everything, and I love it a bit. And we're going to Mardi Gras tomorrow together, and she has bought every rainbow thing under the sun. I'm pretty sure she has rainbow butterfly wings, all of this rainbow stuff, which is amazing. But it kind of made me look at straight people during Pride season, and it makes me think like there is a lot of pressure around supporting this, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how gay people feel about Pride. I just feel like it's a lot of profit and a lot of pressure for straight people to be like, "Oh, I'm not homophobic. I totally support that. Yes, pronouns, yes, everything." And it's like that's great that you want to support that, but it's also like every day, like as I was saying earlier, every day is gay day, you know? Like
Yeah. It it I to me it feels like inspiration porn. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you know when a gym bro sees someone who's in a wheelchair lifting weights and like, oh bro, you're such an inspiration. Oh, jump off a cliff. Like, just stop. I understand that you think that this is a nice thing you're saying, but what you're being is an absolute asshole. Stop it. And sure, buy rainbow materials, buy rainbow stuff, buy the Pride in Progress flag from sellers that are queer led. So then the money, profit that comes through it goes through to queer led people.
Mhm.
But becoming 100% rainbow when you're straight feels like you're masquerading homosexuality. It doesn't feel right.
It it's like it's supportive. It's kind of like that story online a few years ago that I read. I'm sure there's been a million and one stories like this, but there was a person who came out as trans to their family, and then they were like super supportive, but then like it was to the point that when Pride season God, I keep calling it season now. When
It
Pride
is.
came
It's Pride
around,
season. It's Pride Festival.
when Pride
It's
came
like,
around, they were like, we're going to, every single time that there is a parade on, we are going, we have every single rainbow thing under the sun. We have like a million things. Like, it was so overwhelming for this
yeah,
person, and they were just like, that's great, but you didn't need to do that. And I think one of the reasons that Pride just feels very overwhelming, I guess, in a way, is because nothing has changed for us, I guess, between February and March, and April. You know, we're going to go into
yeah,
next month still being exactly the same amount of gay as we always have been. I am always bi. I always have been. Maybe I didn't fucking know it, but I
mhm,
always have been. And it's not a choice. It's not something I switch on or off. It's not something that I choose.
yeah,
But Pride is it's 1 month of a year. And I think that's why it feels weird, because it's like, so 1 month a year, we're gonna change everything to rainbow and be like, fuck yeah, gays. But next month we're gonna like take all of it off. Like, you know, all the
yeah,
rainbow balloons go away, all the rainbow decorations go away. We still support the gays, but the rainbow stuff goes. It just I get it's a celebration. I get that it's an amazing time to feel part of a community, especially if you're still going through that time where you're trying to figure out who you are, your identity, coming out, and all of it. It's an amazing time to feel like you're not alone. And that
yeah.
is one thing that I still to this day enjoy about Pride. It is a reminder that there are so many fucking gays out there, and I love all of them. But
But
it's
that,
also a reminder that there are also a lot of straights out there who don't know how to approach the topic of supporting gay people. There are a
yeah,
lot of straights that do a good job with it, but overall, it just feels like a majority of the things is like, let's slap a rainbow on it and sell it, you know?
yeah. And then you've got the issues with Pride originally started as a protest.
Yes.
Pride
And
originally started as a group of trans women
mm-hmm,
and lesbian women fighting the cops
mm-hmm,
for their huge inaction against the AIDS crisis,
yep,
and they're fighting the government against their inaction against the AIDS crisis. And then you've got this the Sydney Gay Lesbian Mardi Gras. I personally do not like. I do not like going to it.
mm-hmm.
Because one, I don't like big crowds, to be perfectly fair.
It's
I'm not that
massive.
kind of gay. I
Yeah.
am a please let me sit at home and watch a movie with my gorgeous boyfriend gay.
Yes, yes.
Um, but two, every single year they put up a police float,
Mm,
which is so incredibly inappropriate. To think that originally the issues and the reason why we have Pride and we have Mardi Gras was
mm,
because it started as a protest to stop these cops and stop, uh, some other assholes as well from literally murdering us
mm-hmm.
and killing us and then putting them on the like. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's good.
It's great that the police force support the LGBTQIA community now. It's
Yeah,
great that they have woken the fuck up and reflecting and, you know, supporting. That's amazing. I just thought of a word for it. It's very aggressive acceptance of the gays is Pride, because I feel like there was so much stigma and so much misunderstanding
yeah,
when we were younger, and there still is, but there's a lot more acceptance now than there used to be. So
yeah,
when we were younger, there was a lot more of a stigma. There was a lot more of like, you know, gay was used as an offensive thing. Like, I
yeah,
still hear people say, "Oh, that's so gay," and I'm like, what is like
Yeah.
like that's great, like we love gay shit, and then I realize it's a bad thing, and then
Yeah, no,
then you know it's a bad thing,
they're
and
not using that nicely.
yeah, the fucking U-turn that people are doing now and the aggressive, I support you guys so much and everything. And it's like, I feel like for us, what has changed is we have found ourselves, we have found our community and our people and people who accept us and love us for who we are. I feel like we are who we are. And oh my god, Kesha. Okay. Just quoted Kesha on my podcast.
Classic Kesha moments.
We are who we are, and that is not like the only thing that has changed since we were younger is discovering that, right? I feel like that's a big thing. Like, I feel like people who have had that stigma internal or vocalized it
Yeah.
have made such a fucking massive U-turn in their approach that pride comes across so aggressively but also very hollow. I think I would be more I think I would support pride. Well, I support pride, but I think that I would be a lot happier with it if we were educating people about Stonewall, if we were educating people about, you know, the history of drag queens and because oh my fucking god, there is so much amazing and also horrific history to
Yep.
gay culture. And when you learn about it and when you see how fucking far people have had to go and how brave and courageous people have had to be just to love who they want to love and be themselves, when you look at Pride, it genuinely has gone from a time where you uh it's gone from a protest, as you said, and a strength and a voice to let's slap a rainbow on everything and say we support the gays, and then next month change everything back. It
Yeah.
just feels so hollow. I think personally, I think we need to do more education in
Yep.
topics around gay culture, gay history, and um also more fundraising and more advocacy for trans rights and trans lives because my god, they are it
Yeah.
makes me so angry and emotional to talk about the violence and stigma. Hmm. You know what I mean.
I know where you're coming from.
Thank you. I don't
The 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 big thing about the corporatization of Pride as well is that that money goes into line the pockets of these big corporates, you know, big businesses, and it
Mhm,
doesn't go back into the community. And
mhm,
the issue with that is, like I said before, where I live and the suburbs around it and the LGAs around it, there isn't anything. And the things that there are don't have the funding to advertise and are so small and getting smaller by the year,
mhm.
you know. So
And Pride comes around and these big brands are getting
yeah,
money.
yep,
But it's like when you're supporting these people and what they're advertising, like I feel like you really need to look past what you're seeing.
yeah,
And it's like when I went to the supermarket and just the mall the other day, mall, oh my god, I'm American. When I went to the mall the other day, it was just a bunch of rainbow things that they were already selling that they've brought together. And at the bottom of it, it says, come celebrate Pride with us. Like, it's what
yeah,
the fuck? Like, it's that it just seems so hollow, so marketed. And it's like, it's great that we are reminded that there are people like us out there. That's amazing. It's great that there are people who support us. But if you genuinely support us, you need to look past the marketing, past the corporatization. You need to do your research about
mhm,
brands that actually support
yep,
the gays because uh not all of them do.
no,
No.
No, the big one that I worked for, I'm not going to name and shame because then for legal reasons, I will not name and shame them. But
Mm-hmm.
a big telco company that I worked for
Mm-hmm.
um, puts a lot of money into Mardi Gras, the Mardi Gras festival. They have their own float on it every year,
Mm-hmm.
and they all of the upper management was calling through the ranks to find staff members that were queer to get ideas from them on how they can run it, which is great.
Well, that's great. At least you're not just going to a board of straight people and saying, "How do we celebrate the gays?" You know?
Yeah,
Thank you
which
for
was great.
your target audience.
However, to then present all of those ideas, they essentially took them all, stole them all, presented it with the board of directors, and none of us got recognition for that. One of the suggestions that I had and that I spearheaded in that company was to have yeah,
If you're
one
not
that
on
I left.
YouTube right now, I am breathing very heavily and moving around very uncomfortably in my seat and gritting my teeth. Continue.
One of the ideas that I spearheaded and pushed through for that company, which will remain unnamed, unfortunately,
Mm.
lawyers, was having pronoun badges made by the company. They then pushed all that through, and the person who got praise for it was my area manager.
Deep breath.
So,
I just
as
want
much
everyone
as I'd love to say,
listening.
"Oh yeah, this company's great," no, any big company doesn't give a fuck about you. Doesn't give a fuck about us. Just do your job, go home, and be gay, do crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like um, everyone listening and watching, we all need to take a very collective deep breath because holy shit.
no, yeah.
I'm
Sorry to bring the mood
fine.
down, everyone.
No, you're fine.
While we're down here, I wanted to circle back
Mm,
to one of the bads of Pride.
mm,
The biggest bad that I've seen more recently, over the last, I want to say 5 years, has been every Pride year, the same three arguments get brought up to our poor, loving trans community. And it always starts with the bathroom argument.
yep.
Always starts with the bathroom argument. Then it moves on to um, the pedophile argument, which is both of them are unfounded, unbiased. And
Mm,
every single year, when Pride season comes through, when queer season makes its head, these fucking horrendously horrible, mostly conservatives, let's be honest,
mm-hmm.
bring up this idea that this unfounded idea that people who are trans are dangers to society.
How?
And so
Why?
a lot of our lovely trans people, a lot of our lovely non-binary people have to deal with that every year. So you've got
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of cis gays who don't know any better, loving Pride, loving going through it all, while the majority still suffers. So I wanted to bring that up as well. Our
Thank
darling, lovely trans people, we stand with you. We love you. I'm so sorry that you have to go up with this bullshit. We love you very much.
We really do. And it's also, I also want to say, we support you outside of Pride as well. We support you all fucking year round,
Oh
not
yeah,
not just in Pride. So, Thiccbaer,
yeah.
how can we improve Pride in the future, do you think? I've said fundraising because, my God, as you said, put that money into the community because I don't think people understand how beneficial talking to someone can be, especially when it's around figuring out who you are, figuring out experiences. Like, it's not just, when you figured out who you are. It's also like
That's just the beginning.
it's like me being bi. Like when Graham and I broke up last year, I I'm bi, but I have always been with a straight man. And I was anxious as fuck and like having panic attacks because I realized I could talk to women now. Well, I say talk to women. It's
Do you mean
not
running
even.
up to them going, "Oh, you're cute," and running away as fast as you can?
Yes, that's it.
That's the gay experience.
That's the gay experience right there, motherfuckers. Because holy fuck, women are beautiful.
Mhm.
So yeah, literally, I can talk to women, not on my resume, but basically, it's like therapy about things like that. It's one thing to be like knowing who you are, knowing your identity. It's another thing to be out of the closet, know who you are, be surrounded by an accepting group of friends and family, but now finding yourself like, okay, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I know what I want to do. What the fuck do I do now?
Yeah,
Like,
where do I go from here?
yeah, and I'm sorry, like I love my straights to bits, but I'm not going to a straight person for that. Like, like I'm also not going to friends and family for that. I'm going to a third party who doesn't have any like bias or anything, like, and I can just talk to. It makes me so angry that we still need to have discussions about safety in the gay community and gay people and trans people and just anyone who is not normal. Note, if you're listening, I did like the little quote sarcasm thingies. Normal. If you're not normal, it's like it's fucking ridiculous that we're still talking about say it's 2023.
Mhm.
Why deep breaths. Why are we still feeling threatened about loving who we want to love, about living in a world where people can't accept us? And because they can't accept us, they don't understand, they're confused, they're scared, they lash out. A lot of people get angry and violent, and it's terrifying. Like, I hate that this discussion is still happening. I
Yeah,
absolutely fucking hate it, and this is something that needs to improve.
yeah, and at the end of the day, all of this comes back to the fact that marginalized groups, as a standard,
Mm-hmm.
have a higher rate of suicidality.
Yeah, that's the other
And
thing as
once you've
well.
got groups of people who have been historically beaten and murdered, then taking their own lives, they become more of a minority away from
Mm-hmm.
that majority. And for a lot of people, that is the reality for them, that they will develop depression and anxiety, that they will develop suicidal tendencies and thoughts because of this constant need for um, fitting in, and fitting in is not who they are. This,
Mm-hmm.
like, the masking to become a straight upstanding citizen that's never going to, be seen or deemed as a pedophile. I've literally been stopped in the street and been told that I am a disgrace. I was just having
Whoa.
a fucking sandwich,
Oh
having myself a bit of Subway, and because I kissed my goddamn boyfriend, they're like, disgraceful. And so I stood up with my 6'4" frame, and I've never seen people run faster. I didn't have to threaten them. I just stood up.
my. I.
So
Oh.
one of the issues that I found as well with Pride Month is, and this isn't to say that this is the case, but this is how it's perceived. If you are straight and you're going into queer safe spaces, you are perceived as a threat. Not because you are one, but because historically speaking, people who are straight going into queer-led spaces and going into queer safe spaces are there to cause violence and to cause havoc. They're not there for the right reason. The one good thing about Pride and the one good thing about the Mardi Gras parade is that is the point in time where all of the queer safe spaces are open and everyone's inviting, and you can go into these places and have a really good time. But outside of those times, you are and will be perceived as a potential threat. And you may still enjoy going to the club. You may still enjoy going to like a nightclub or something like that, or to a queer safe space because it's nice and clean and energy is fucking good. The vibes are great. But yeah, but if you've got somebody who is vulnerable in a safe space and you're being there just being yourself, you can be perceived as a threat. That is not, again, that's not because you are one, but because historically straight people are a threat.
I think it's great if you want to celebrate the gay community. It's great if you want to celebrate Pride. However, I think that there is a very significant difference between attending a Pride march or sticking up a gay flag for a month and actually supporting gay
Yeah,
culture. Because coming from two fucking gay people who are very highly gay, it's a difference between what people are selling you and what we are telling you that we need, that we want, that things that actually help and support us and that we are thankful for. Because this was meant to be the good and bad things about Pride. I feel like the one good thing is community, and I feel like it's reminding you you're not alone. It's reminding you that you are surrounded by this amazing, loving, accepting community who are just fucking incredible. Like the fucking gay community, I cannot even. Like they're so full of the best people, honestly. Amazing. But there's a lot of not good things about Pride. And I feel like if you are straight, if you are new to Pride, or you're new to celebrating Pride and you are looking at doing that this year, whether it be in Pride or future Pride events, I feel like you really need to look past the marketing. You need to look past what people are selling you, what people are advertising, and you need to do your research. You need to look at supporting small businesses run by gays. You need to look at supporting gay people who are also trying to celebrate Pride and like sell things and do things. Support them. Like support these people. They're the fucking ones that we're celebrating, you know? And it's just supporting these big businesses that will change their logo for 1 month a year to a rainbow. It's not doing what you're thinking it's doing. I appreciate your intention behind it, but your intention needs to have action. And if you genuinely support us, you need to look at those actions and you need to maybe rethink a few things, you know? Like maybe your support needs to be coming from a different place. And that's okay if you didn't know or understand that before this episode. It is not your fault. But, you know, after this episode, go have a look at, you know, gay businesses. Go have a look at funding and fundraising for like mental health things that support gay people, because as Thiccbaer said, between the stigma and the violence and the feelings of unsafeness that still persists today for our community, it's fucked. It's
Yeah.
fucked. And we are here telling you how you can support us. It's your turn. I have mixed feelings about Pride. Pride can be good and it can be amazing and colorful and beautiful, but I feel like it is also a time of pressure, of stress, of
Hmm.
feeling like if you don't dress up in everything rainbow, you're not going to look supportive enough to the gay people and you'll get called out for it. Because let's face it, social media these days, you can be ripped to shreds. And
Yeah.
I feel like that is where a lot of this pressure comes from, because everyone is always watching you at all times. Like if there's a camera on, you could be like that video could be on like 12 different apps.
Yep.
It That pressure comes from trying to please and trying to show that you are accepting. But for the people that you are trying to do this for, speaking personally for myself, it's stressful, it's overwhelming, and it doesn't come across how you want it to come across. It feels like
It feels disingenuous.
it feels hollow. It
Yeah.
feels like more of like you're supporting a marketing ploy than actual gay culture. If someone came to me and said, um, I researched this about Stonewall and I found out all of this, and can I ask about your experiences as a bisexual person? Like, that would feel like support, you know? I would having conversations that go past.
The flags.
Flags are great,
Flags are
but
great
holy fuck. You can't stick a pride flag on everything and be like, I support the gays. Like,
because
we
you're
need to go
not.
deeper than surface level, people.
To end it off, I have a mostly negative view of the Pride Month, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to leave on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
Small community events, small queer-led community events make you feel like home.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel like queer home. And there are big community events as well, especially if you're in the city or can get to the city. There's a lot of stuff there that is really, really good that is outside of Pride Month and that is going on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
These kind of events make you feel like you belong and make you feel like you're at home. And it is really important to engage with those. However, Pride Month itself always makes me feel always leaves a bit of like a bitter taste in my mouth
Yeah.
because I know that the following month it's gone. And
And
unfortunately, I don't live in an area where I can get to the city and be a part of these events.
yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of leaves you longing for more.
Yeah.
Mm,
As a bisexual being myself, I think Pride has gone from a time of protest and a time of having a voice when you didn't have a voice to a very marketed ploy that is bringing in a lot of money to the wrong places. Um, and I think if you genuinely support us, if you support gay people, if you support gay communities, you need to look deeper. You need to invest your time in researching about the history of gay culture. You need to look into areas that could use that money in a lot more ways than funding these big brands who have so much ability because of how much money they have in comparison to these small queer led businesses, events, and things that actually feel supportive but could be doing so much more work but are only limited by money. You know, look into these things, support these people, and I think if Pride can go in that direction in the future, I think it will be more of a time where we feel like we are celebrating something.
Mm.
At the moment, I feel like it is a majority a marketing ploy, and it makes me sad because it's like I'm not gonna change next month. I'm still just gonna be just as gay. And walking around and seeing all the rainbows go away, it's like it's just confusing, and
Mm.
it's overwhelming, and it makes you think a lot about yourself and your identity and your sexuality and question a lot of things because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just fucking it's a lot. And I'm glad we had this chat because holy crap, Pride's a bit fucked.
Pride's a bit fucked.
Pride's a bit
I've
fucked.
I've known that I'm not straight for 12 or 14 years
Mhm.
now, and Pride's always been a bit fucked. For Pride Month, let me say that. Don't take that fucking audio clip out of context.
Mm.
Pride Month has always been a bit fucked.
As I said, if we can go in that direction more of like looking past the marketing, I think Pride has a very bright future. And yeah, I will try and find some links below to help people with researching, with looking at uh, ways to support gay communities and look into gay history. Please click those links. They're important and they are the true meaning of Pride. You know, in the end, that is the true meaning of Pride, not not these big ass companies changing their logos for a month and trying to sell you these rainbow colored things that really don't do like mean shit, you know?
Yeah.
Think before you buy, think about where you invest your money and your time, understand and learn about the history, and, you know, do things that actually support the gays. I mean, guys, go support our Twitch channels, go support the YouTube, go support the podcast on Spotify. Oh, there's so many places that you can support the queers, specifically these two, but there's so I hate to tell you, there's actually more gays than you and I. Would you believe it? I know.
No.
Shocking.
How dare us?
Well, Thick, it as always has been an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming on and chatting about gay shit with me. I appreciate
Of
you.
course. And hopefully next time I will have functional blinds.
Well,
For those of you who are listening on the podcast, my blinds fell down twice during this hour and a half recording. And on the second time, we just gave up.
we gave up.
Mm,
We're here, we're queer.
we gave up.
It's the gay experience, everyone.
It's the gay experience.